This is Matt.
And Jesse.
Thanks for tuning in to Dice at the Round Table. And this is going to be a game review on...
Century Golem Edition.
We have Golem because we like the version, but the rules are the same for either version of Century.
It's because of the shiny objects. I like all things shiny.
So overall, Century, there's been a lot out there. So you have a background on us. When Plaid Hat and not part of Asmodee, it's now Plaid Hat again, not part of Asmodee, but we actually had the ability to be playtesters for this.
We did.
And we have flashbacks of calling things trains because we were using Ticket to Ride trains
yep.
to simulate some of this. So when Splendor was going out there and everyone was talking about Splendor and we tried the Splendor app, we had been playing Century as a playtester and we just fell in love with how that game played.
Yes. And
so for us, we're not going to compare this to Splendor because we've never played the table version of Splendor.
No, we never have.
And we'll talk about our final thoughts on Splendor if we're going to get Splendor at the end. Because I know a lot of people consider this like Splendor-like, a Splendor killer, but we'll talk about Century first. You want to talk about overall how the game's done?
So overall, you are given a starting hand. Hello. Helps if I actually have the starting hand.
Well, just talk about the starting hand.
Okay. No, because I want to show the caravan.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. This is your caravan. You can only have this many gems on your card, no more. And then you are given these two cards to start. And that's all you start the game with. You pick up gems and you trade them in according to the card, and everything is explanatory.
But you do start with something else. You do start out with some yellow gems, and maybe someone's going to start with a green gem.
Depending on how many players are.
And this is the order of like value. Yellow, green, blue, pink.
All right. On the deck, there are cards you can buy. The first one is always free. If you want to purchase a card that's like next to it, you have to put down a gem, any color gem. And then once you pick up the card, they all kind of move down so that the first one is always free.
And if you take a card that
if you take a card that has the gems on it, you get the gems. Kind of nice. Hopefully your caravan card can hold them all. You are working to collect the gems that are on the bottoms of the cards. And once you collect them in on your turn, you can pay your gems to score the card.
And on your turn, you only have 3 actions. Or is it 4? You can play a card from your hand. You can pick up your cards you've played. You can buy a card or turn in gems to claim a point card because there's a point value on the card.
The first 2 the first 2 cards in your row of 4 or 5 have these things above them, and they always confuse me because the copper one is actually worth more points than the silver one.
Which, for us in the States, we think penny and silver coins.
Yes.
Silver coins have more value to us.
It's backwards to me.
So there's a limited number of those on top of the first 2 cards.
Yep.
Once they run out, they're just like bonus points to make you have an incentive to get claim those cards.
To claim those cards. And that is, go ahead.
So when we talk about claiming, so you always have this icon. It'll tell you what you have to give up and what you get. There's the creation card, which was the 2 yellow you start with. There's a creation card for every color. There's only 1. This deck is all the cards you can get, and they're all unique.
And we never go through the whole deck in a game, ever.
Unless we play with our son Riley, who just collects cards.
Okay.
Which we've done.
Once or twice.
You start with an upgrade card. You want to show them that one? And then there's only one card of this. This lets you move gems up 2, so you can go from a yellow to a blue, or take 2 yellow to make 2 green, or any combination. It lets you hop. This one lets you hop 3 times. Everyone wants the 3 when it shows up. Or the one that's more,
6.
where anything more than 2 players is 5. So the first person to get 5, you'll finish the round. So if she's first and I'm second and I claim the 5th card, she's not going to get another turn. So you got to be mindful, and the caravan cards are out. So everyone knows what you have.
Yes.
So if you're looking at everyone else's stuff, now you don't always know what they have in their hands. You see what everyone picks up. So if you've got a good memory, you kind of know what people can do.
I don't have a good memory. I don't.
I will say most of the times we play this, we kind of sometimes pick up like, oh, someone's going for that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, tunnel vision is massive, where you're just trying to get that card, and then all of a sudden the person in front of you, one turn ahead of you, claims the card. And you're like, oh, that's what I wanted. Now I got to figure out what to do with all these gems.
Yeah, that happens frequently.
Yeah. So
tunnel vision is definitely a thing.
So the components.
So I love the components. I mean, hello, at least for Golem Edition. Who doesn't love sparkly, crystally looking gems, right? They're amazing. And they're fun to take in and out of the bins, which, by the way, they have all their own little compartments. Oh, let's see this. So you just literally line them up and take them, you can just set them up in a row.
We typically stack them this way, so everyone knows yellow to green, green to blue, blue to pink.
Yep. So yeah, I love the fact that they pre-sorted the gems and they come in their own little container. And even the coins, even though they confuse me, they got a lot of detail on them. So they got a nice little C on them. So yeah, I like the components.
Everything fits into the box perfectly. It's a nice little set. I set it up standing up, so it's tight enough in there where things, when we open it, it doesn't go everywhere.
Yep.
So gameplay overall, thoughts?
Gameplay overall, that tunnel vision is a nightmare. But other than that, it can be fun. Sometimes you're deciding whether you want to go for those high point cards. Do you want to try and go for the cards in the front that have the coins on top for the extra points? Do you want to just grab up all the little cards and screw everybody else? So it's kind of like, trying to figure out how to finish the game out on top. And it's never really the same because, like I said, we don't go through all the cards. So the cards that show up every game are different. I don't think I've ever seen the same set of cards every game.
Yeah, I mean, this game's awesome. I love it. When we found out this guy moved from Flat Hat to someone else, it was really disheartening because we didn't know where it was going to be. Then when they did the Century, because we had heard there was going to be 2 different versions and there was no Golem Edition, we were really disappointed. So,
oh my gosh, I would not buy the game.
When Golem came out, we're like, that's the one we wanted. So that's the one we wanted. So I got it for a Christmas gift a couple years ago. So yeah, that was like, it had to be Golem.
Initially trying to explain it to people, they are confused, and it's okay. But once you get the rhythm of how the game goes, it's a really easy game.
Yeah, it's a really quick pickup after you do a couple turns. The most frustrating thing for most new people is one action. Yeah. I can't do more than one thing. That Ticket to Ride feel. We play with new gamers, experienced gamers across the board. Everyone's enjoyed it.
Yes.
It still plays relatively quick. Even with 5 players, it played under 60 minutes.
Yep.
So if you have someone that's really like thinky that takes forever for a turn, it's probably going to stretch just over an hour, but it can still play. And usually when you play that second or third time with the same people, that definitely drops the play time down like 10 minutes. So it's under 60 minutes. We can play a 2-player game in about 30.
Yep.
30 minutes. And and I think it's tight no matter what.
Oh, absolutely.
'Cause
Absolutely.
The more players at the table, the more you're trying to, like, you'll lose thoughts of trying to figure out what everyone's going for.
And sometimes it looks like someone's going for a card, and then you find out that that was not the card they were going for at all.
Because their thinking was completely different.
Yep.
You're like, oh, that's the easy card. No, they weren't going for that easy card. They were going for the hard card. It's like, okay. Because, yeah, you got the different strategies of, do you go for lots of low point cards, try to end the game quick? Do you go for a balance of the two? Do you only go for the bronze and the silver card bonuses? Do you only go for the highest points cards that are on the board? It really comes down to efficiently using the cards.
Yep.
Usually the person who can efficiently use the cards, wasting the least amount of actions to pick up cards.
And this is not a game that I always lose to. I've won one or two. So,
more than one or two.
Well, okay. So there are games where I'm like, he always wins, like Descent, and we stopped playing because of that. Rebellion is another one. So, yeah, there are games where I'm just like, yeah, no, I know he's going to win. Lords of Waterdeep, he usually wins, but this is not a game where he always wins. So, I feel like I'm on equal playing field in the logic there.
So yeah, it's got great. It covers all the spectrum.
Yep.
So check out, if you don't have Golem or a Century. I mean, if you don't have Century, it's really great. If you want something that's not cubes and you want some variety, go for the Golem Edition. The Golem Edition is got a nice little jazz to it. Why don't we have Splendor?
Because I heard a lot of people talking about how hard it was to hold the chips and things and the placement of them, and they tend to roll everywhere. And it just doesn't interest me. And I play the online version, and I'm like, oh, it keeps everything in line for me. I'm like, I like that. I can't imagine playing the actual board game and having to keep track of all that stuff.
For me, I played the online version to see if we get a feel for it before we bought it, and for me, it just doesn't have a good. I don't like the flow. I get kind of the concept, but trying to make those combinations, I have more fun doing this, and I think part of it is I have that caravan.
Yeah.
I'm constantly moving these back and forth, where Splendor just has a little different feel.
Well, in Splendor, you're trying to collect the cards with the chips that give you the points, and yeah, it's not the same.
So for us, we have a lot of fun with this. We really enjoyed the card mechanics, and that's why we don't have Splendor. If someone asks us to play it, teach it to me. I'll give it a try for you. If we have our choice, this is what we'll play.
I love this game.
So thanks for checking this out. If you're interested in the 2-player version, check out the special edit version that's separate from this.